massive, massive.
Good evening. Welcome to the West Ham Review. Hope you're all keeping well in this windswept, rain-sodden, lovely evening that we're all going to enjoy. And as you can see, I have to my that side, Budgie. We've all got to have a go at doing it. My co-host with me on the show, she is Budgie, and our friend from the pond, across the pond, in Lawrence. How are we doing, Lawrence?
Very good, gentlemen. How's everything going?
Yeah, lovely, mate. Apart from the news we saw today, which a few people in the chat already putting about it. Another stay of execution, as we say.
Well, first of all, it was a shoddy display on Monday night. Absolutely terrible game. Tuesday night, wasn't it? Sorry, Tuesday night. And then we're all expecting, fireworks and big changes. And typically West Ham, nothing changes.
I mean, we will go over the game shortly. And that, I mean, Lawrence, I saw your little video. Again, another great one. But what did you make of it? So that performance?
It was disgusting to me. I mean, all the things that we talked about as far as problems and holes in our stuff all came to light. But as far as we had the major defensive lapse, Matt played terrible that day. Kilman was not playing well either, and then in the final third, we've been talking about that all year long, where we cannot finish at all. We cannot pass it around. How do you have over 160 passes around the box and I think 10 or 11 shots and one goal? And we got it the 93rd minute off of a corner. It was just unacceptable. And this is the first time that I really believe in it. It's a sad state because players should be playing for their pride and the badge and the fans that are out there. I saw them giving up. In that second half, I really saw a lack, even when the three, Somerville came on, Ings wasn't playing well, but there was no change. Then when the other three, like Paquette, Antonio, nothing. So, to me at that point, I was like, this is it. When I could see the players giving up, and now I don't know, we've all heard the rumors out there about like Bowen's unhappy. I guess Todibo, and you guys may know more about it. I guess he got a butt chewing at halftime during an Arsenal game, so he was embarrassed by it. Of course, you see right now everything on social media. You don't know what's the truth, so I don't know. I didn't see that, but you're hearing that there's an uproar in the house.
Yeah.
So I just can't fathom how they're keeping him around much longer. Another match. It can't be the win, and then he's good for a couple more matches. It's just got to stop.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, I was more fascinated as you're talking there, your robotic Hoover in the background doing its job.
Oh, you saw him, yeah.
Trust you to notice something like that. Bloody hell, all guy over there, look.
Just at the corner of my eye, I thought, what's that by his arm? And then all of a sudden I see it moving backwards and forwards and that. I thought, oh, it's stuck.
Yeah,
But
that's Chuck. He's doing his job.
Chuck, what a name. Let's just go catch up with the chat first of all before we crack on. Obviously, Adama's there saying, obviously, safe lads and ladettes. Good to see you, Adama. Good evening to Nick. Good to see you. He's got his tissues ready. He's got his prawn sandwiches ready. Are they cussed quite off, though, Nick? That's the question. And the Johnson's baby lotion ready as well. So he'll actually use his hands to have a, as you know. And I'll find to stop the friction burns I keep getting over this stream. Brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. Usual, as always, great to see you. And whatever, a never-ending saga of awfulness. Good evening to everyone.
Absolutely right.
Hendon Gooner, great to see you as well in here. Good evening, Tony, Early Doors Football TV. Guests and all in the chat and watching. Looks like West Ham versus Wolves will be the El Sakiko match. Yes. 100% as usual saying there. Evening, James. And as you can see, Budgie's put a comment in. We will be talking on, we'll come up with the Green Street Elites, which is going to be the first one on the show. We're going to be talking about the great Alan Devonshire. So we're looking forward to that one. Budgie's going to talk about that guy. What happened last night?
Duty called. I had to go to work, real late one. I had to go and repair a staircase with a family with 3 kids under 7. So, yeah, unfortunately, that took precedence. Yeah.
That's good. Even to Brendan, how we doing? Evening all, our usual. Yeah. Right, what now? True. What now? That's it. Yeah. That's what you call, mate, as you said. And good evening, Happy. They're all saying hello to each other, which is always good to see that part. First question from Nick is: when Loppy gave Sully a blowjob yesterday in the boardroom, what 5 things do you think he said to Sully to convince him to keep him on? And how much load do you think Loppy gave Sully? Well,
well, the tone of the show's already hit the rock bottom that I was expecting a lot later on in the show.
I agree with you, Budgie.
But thanks for that brilliant question, Nick. Yeah, probably the full load, and lots of money was involved, I would imagine.
Yeah, and that's why he's kept on for one more game, I'd say. Brendan's saying, Budgie, Alan Devonshire is my favourite player in English county, but seriously a top 3 Emma for me.
Yeah,
great show.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I suggested we chose him first, because, I mean, we are talking about Green Street heroes, basically, or elites, if you like, just to coin a phrase. Obviously, Tony and I, we're going to have our little pick of the first few, and obviously we're going to leave it open to other people to suggest some subjects for us. There are the obvious ones, but we want some of the more obscure ones. Look, I know people are going to suggest Marco Boogers and the likes, but no, what we really want is people that we can talk about, bring into the limelight a little bit, that actually did something that the club benefited from. The likes of Alan Devonshire, your Trevor Brookings of the world, your Dimitri Payets, even, if you like. We're getting to that bit later on. Sorry, Tony.
No, it's good, mate. No, I mean, it sums up in a nutshell, so people know exactly where we're going with this one.
Yeah.
Fulham's 1-up on Brighton already. Iwobi after 4 minutes. Yeah, Fulham's looking all right at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're looking very good.
Nick saying, is it me or does Budgie look 10 years younger?
I have had a shave and cut my hair a couple of days ago, so, I
all looks good. What a panel. Brendan's saying, what a panel.
Thank you, Toe.
Just catch up on. And Happy Emirates saying, I have literally just walked through the door and hearing Loppy is fucking staying, oh, boxy fuck up, wasted another match or 2.
And I think that's quite a common feeling amongst West Ham fans. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, Tony.
Duty calls.
They do.
Yeah.
Throw that shit out the window.
Straight out into the Pacific. Go on.
You
But
gotta
no,
know your
what-
priorities.
Yeah. But like, I'm sure you also, Lawrence, you feel very similar to that. We were expecting a shake-up today. And the only shake-up really is in the likes of this channel, Aaron's Chat, West Ham Network, Bowling Lounge, whatever. All of us, the shake-up was that nothing changes.
Yeah.
Really.
And then what happens if we win on Monday? Can you
Yeah.
expect them to sack him the next day? So
Well,
it's like,
Yeah, we had a very similar period with David Moyes, didn't we?
true. Yep.
Where we were told that he had one match or two matches, whatever it was,
Mhm.
to turn things around. He got a draw and a win, had a stay of execution, and within weeks of that happening, we're qualifying for the final of the Conference League. And that was all in that same season when Moyes was being threatened with one job left, one game left, two
Yeah.
games left or whatever. So things can be picked up and turned around, and Lopetegui is quite confident that he can do that. Now, if you don't mind me paraphrasing Gio, I watched a Hammers Chat video earlier, and he was saying that when Lopetegui was brought in and employed as the head coach, he was given 3 parameters that must happen. One was a different style of play, something that's more pleasing to the eye with better results. Not necessarily end result, but better results during play.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 was, I believe, was more. What was the bloody? I can't remember what the second one was now. But anyway, basically what it amounted to was that they wanted a better style of play, better results, and more happier fans. Basically, they wanted like an identity. They wanted a
Sure.
progression.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he thinks that he's winning on 2 of them counts because it's a different style of play. And that was the other one. He had to integrate 9 new players into the starting 11 during the course of his tenure, or this season, or whatever the case may be. He's already hit that mark. 9 new players.
Yeah.
That was the other one. Sorry, yeah. And he says that it's a different style of play. I think there's probably 60 or 70,000 West Ham supporters that watch the games regularly that would disagree with that point. And the other final one, which was more consistent wins and better results, he's nowhere near that either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe he might have hit the target with integrating new players, but anything other than that, I think he's failing on. And at this stage of the game, we are actually looking behind us at the teams, and there aren't that many of them behind us, and going, well, actually, they got a win that last weekend. They took, Manchester United to 75 minutes before they scored. They took Chelsea to 60 minutes before they scored. Whatever the case may be, these are teams that, if they're doing that for 60 minutes, 70 minutes, whatever, when they come up against us who are at 6s and 7s, they're going to shit all over us.
Mm-hmm.
Agree with that.
Did you see? I don't know how we can move forward with this person, because did you see him on the sidelines of the match? He looks like a broken man.
But
you
there
need
is also mitigating circumstances for that as well.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
happened?
his father's died of very just passed away. One
My
or the
apologies,
other.
and I just heard it because I know he was not well, and I think he went and visited him during the international break.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. That
I mean,
that
you can
explains a
feel
lot.
for the guy, but look, while
That
you're
explains-
going through something like that, although your first thought is going to be for your family,
for
you know,
sure.
the next thought should also be right. I've got to make sure that the job I do has got some security and basis about it,
Yeah.
whether I'm there or in my absence. And it really
Mhm.
should have been in his absence, if I'm honest with you. He should
Yeah.
have got his number 2 to take control of the game. Maybe we might not have had such a torrid time in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Usual.
But,
It's a
that
football.
is-
It's
that in
a football
itself
channel
is no
tonight.
excuse.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
exactly.
But that's
exactly.
why he looked so. But he did look very distraught during that game. But that explains a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, hence
Well,
why he came on looking like a homeless man a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
It worked though, didn't it? It worked because the team played well in that game.
It did.
Once he got a shave and that, we all gone to shit
That was
again.
the
Basically,
Newcastle game, wasn't it? We beat
that's
them.
the Newcastle. Yeah. Usual, just saying that. Yeah, it's a football channel tonight. Budgie's already done the cookery show already. Bring on the
Mate.
Christmas special.
No, I'm waiting until afterwards, and then I'm ordering Deliveroo this week.
I got to do some cooking myself tonight for the wife.
Oh, nice.
Lucky wife. That's all I can say, mate. I've seen your cooking, Lawrence.
Yeah, we all
Thank
have.
you. Yeah.
Michael's saying, evening, ladies and gents. Rumour is Potter don't want a short-term contract.
Yeah,
I heard that.
and that really pleases me.
Me too. I had a question for you guys, and I did a little research. I wrote it down because
Evening, Howard.
we're looking for a new manager, coach, wherever you want to be. And what is your feeling that Sergio Conceição? Because I wrote some things down that it attracted me perfectly to. He did 7 years with seasons with Porto. He wound up winning 3 titles. He had 11 trophies in them 7, upgrading Portuguese cups and so forth like that. He likes to play a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, and he's position based, something that we think we like. He motivates his players. The players around him he loves. I think he's got a couple of players that on some of his teams that are in the Premier League now. This is a guy that sounds like it's up and coming. And I know the people want to say he's got no Prem experience and all that, but I think if we're looking for the style of play that this guy has, when I was researching him and his track record, what the heck? Why not? I don't want to keep going over these. I call them retreads after a while. How many times are these same coaches that got sacked somewhere else, they'll be there and they come around again and so forth? It happens all the time in the American profession too, and it's tiresome. And then when you see someone new, he's 50 years old, so not very old at all. He's got a lot of things. And again, I saw some snapshots of him where his players are lifting him up and all that. We need a motivator that can articulate, has that passion, mixes it all up. And again, this is just a quick overview that I looked at, but he has been talked about. But the problem, what we're going to do, just like what happened with the manager over the summer, coach over the summer, we're going to him and holler around over some money or something like that, and we're going to lose him. Because now I've heard that Everton's looking at him. Now, of course, all of a sudden they got 4-0, and 2 own goals by our boy Dawson. He should have saved some of that for us on Monday. Besides that, but I think off these young guys, these young coaches, managers, whatever they want to do, because I know the directors took the managerial role some off and just coach on the pitch. But this guy looks like he's just what I think we're looking for.
Tick the boxes. I mean, it's quite interesting you're saying about the Everton situation, because I think since it was announced that obviously he's got this stay of execution, the media, you're hearing about, Potter with us and Everton. Then you're hearing about Conceição. Then you're hearing about Allegri. Then you're hearing about Thomas Frank. And it's like, wow, And it could be the reason why he's been given this extra game. Because if they're still trying to do talks with people, I suppose if they're still in a job, then that's hard work for them. But if it's someone that's not out of it, I mean, obviously going by what we're saying about Potter there, that should be an easy one to get it over the line. But we are talking about Sullivan and his club.
Contracts only. There's not a lot you can do to change a man's mind, But for me, and I've said this on a couple of other chats. But I think for me, Michael Carrick is going to eventually come to the club as the coach. So why not sooner rather than later? the man knows how the club works and runs. He knows a little bit about this ownership, although I don't believe he played under it for very long.
No.
But he knows a little bit about this ownership, and I think, he will be a yes man where it suits him. Otherwise, he'll fight his corner. I think I kind of pegged Michael Carrick as that kind of character.
Yeah.
I'm not against him coming in at all in the slightest. The only concern I have is that the only Premier League experience he's got in the dugout, other than as a assistant coach or whatever, is 7 games for Manchester United. Can't remember what his exact record was, but I believe he won over 50% of them. But having said that, he is the kind of manager who is loyal. He's shown that with Middlesbrough. He hasn't gone flashing his knickers at Premier League clubs when he was in playoffs and stuff last year. And I find that easier to swallow than someone who turns up at every game for 6 months, apparently, before the job's his.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
If
I
you
mean,
want to come and find me, I'm not going to come show you where I am.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of we know what we'd rather prefer, but it comes down to one person that can royally screw up. And as Lawrence said, I mean, when you think about it, we had an opportunity to jump in before Leicester did with Van Nistelrooy. They took a gamble.
Exactly, and that's who I like too. But and again, I hear all the stuff that said no Prem experience. Hey, guess what? They're gonna have to get it sometime, right? And I mean, he's proven as a manager and a coach that he can do it in the Portuguese league, which is pretty decent. And it's like they got a lot of players coming. So I say give him a shot. I mean,
Why not?
They're not signing him in for like Arsenal or something like that. I think we're a team and we can prove it. Can't get any worse than this. So we got to start like it says. So.
Yeah, we're definitely at the barrel there. That's for sure.
We could get Avram Grant back.
Oh,
yeah. A winning double management team of Avram Grant and Manuel Pellegrini. That'd be a great start. That would be Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Word and pictures are put here at the start of the season. Even the pundits and sport presenters said West Ham have done the best in the transfer window. To foul with these players is a crime against football, and
I agree with that.
There's only one person. There's only one person in it.
Yeah.
Evening, Matt. Sullivan is the biggest bottler in football.
Matt.
And they're saying hello there. Happy saying here, Alvarez, Kudos, Areola, and now Libido. How many more players are the board going to allow Lopi to alienate? And it's a worrying thing.
Yeah.
It is a big worry, and the worst thing about it is Alvarez, probably the best midfielder we've had since Declan Rice, clearly. Kudos, perhaps one of the best, most exciting attacking players we've had since Dimitri Payet. Areola, one of the best goalkeepers we've had since Adrian, perhaps. And Todibo, the best defender we've had since Dawson, I suppose, really.
So, yeah. It's the fact of I think the one with the Todibo, and that is if this bust up was seen clear and obvious, it puts another bad light on the club still with all this shit going on in the background, basically.
Yeah,
which ain't great. Ian Timmy, Bobby in it, WMP. Dear, love that comment. I've just seen the comment is Matt saying the players need to look at themselves as well. Happy they need to start performing. I mean, the interesting thing was the Leicester game. We nicked quite a lot of possession off a Leicester. And if you've had Niswa, I think that's the one thing he needs to address for that team, because when he comes to the final third, we seem to block a lot of it out. All right, fair enough, they scored 3 goals from it. But the one thing we couldn't do, when you think, how many times have you seen stats in the opposition's half when we're in, 3 figures?
Yeah.
I haven't seen many of that. And then obviously the amount of shots, was it 30 odd shots on target?
31 shots overall.
31 shots. Overall shots.
Ridiculous.
That's a game really we should have put to bed. But
Yeah, because one thing I'd give them credit, they were showing that they were really playing a tight. When they come back, it was like a 4-4-2, and they were really close. So they were doing a great job. How many shots that we have that they were blocking? It was just tons of. We were just like kicking it. But the problem there is we should be able to spread them out a little bit by proper passing and then finding them gaps. They sure did it to us, and other teams do it. So yeah, they did a decent job to tighten it in and keep it close and stuff like that. But at the same time, if we were clinical enough and tactical enough, spread them out a little bit to get them in there, and that wasn't happening.
yeah.
We were just trying to bust through like a ram, and then you weren't going nowhere. You need to spread out something to bring it in. It was a very frustrating game to watch with all the time of possession we had and the opportunities, and it just wasn't going.
No, that's right. I mean, even when we think I think there's two occasions where I think the first occasion there was about 4 players trying to have pot shots at the goal.
Yeah.
And the second one, it was about 6 or 7 players having a go.
Yeah.
They were just swinging away.
Wow.
The goalie did have a couple decent saves.
Just on that comment that's there now, Tone,
Mm.
thank you for acknowledging that it's a different type show, Damien, but I don't disagree with what you say there either.
No, that's right. I mean, the main thing when you look at it, that's what it's all about. We're talking about West Ham, and it affects all of us, unfortunately, when it comes to our club and seeing. I mean, look, we've been there. We've had the names drained. We've had our names dragged through the mud beforehand, kind of thing. But this one and that is basically kind of an unforgivable situation.
I mean, this is a very different show to last week's as well, when you think about it, mate. Because last week we were on a high. We come off of that lovely win against Newcastle, and
you're right.
We come in this week and we're on a low because of the performance, not necessarily the result, because it's not the result for me. I just think that the performance warranted a better result.
Yeah,
I agree with that, Richard.
Because I think we said last time, it's all right getting the win against Newcastle, for instance. It's the next game, and it's a style how we play that game. We don't mind if we lose, like for instance with Arsenal. It's putting a performance in.
Yep.
And when you look at that game, okay, wasn't exactly great, but this one on Tuesday really kind of put the nail in the coffin, as they said. Usual saying, Budgie, as an international chef of the highest order, have you ever crossed paths with Greg Wallace, and did he pinch your ass?
On the first point about being a chef of the highest order, lower your expectations, usual. Have I ever crossed paths with Greg Wallace? I have, but not in a culinary setup. I actually bumped into him once in London, and he didn't pinch me ass. He was too busy chatting to women.
Allegedly.
No, factually.
Oh no, we'll have to put that word allegedly in always.
No, he was talking to them. I didn't say anything other than that. But he acknowledged my, my appearance.
We'll leave it at that, as they say. Poor old Greg. Keyboard issue Damien's got. No worries, Damien. The pluses were doing very well. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're on the negatives. Happy saying, well, clearly I'm not past caring because I'm so annoyed still, but you get the sentiment. And I think that's the key thing, isn't it? I mean, we want the club to do well. And when you're seeing performances where, I mean, the manager himself is, say, you've got to remind me if he's got a confidence and he feels he can turn it around. I'd like to know, one, what he's drinking and what planet he lives on, because what we're seeing is completely different.
Yeah. And, like, speaking as it's probably the oldest one on the panel here and probably the oldest in the chat as well. I've been through many ups and downs with West Ham, and none of them have been as soul destroying as this one.
I know.
This isn't just a blip. This is soul destroying, because we've been riding on such a high for the last sort of 4 or 5 seasons that this is just wow.
Yeah.
Mind bending.
I think it was the expectations, wasn't it? I mean, during the summer window, like, as we've already spoke about many a time, bringing all these players in, it all looks like, there's a positive vibe. We could be going in the right direction. It looks like we want to get back into Europe.
Yeah.
Then the pre-seasons come along, and straight away, question marks are raised at that point onwards, and it hasn't stopped.
Let me put a smile on both of your faces. Bournemouth just scored against the Spuds. There you go. Put a smile on that.
Yeah. Every cloud, lads. Every cloud, as they say. Happy's not too sure about the chef references. She's asking what's that all about. And Howard comes back with, chef? He's a fucking plasterer.
He's got 2 jobs.
Well, no, my chefing is a hobby.
That's like me. Yep, me too.
One of the best human beings.
Human beings are nice.
Brilliant.
I saw a bean having a heart attack once, couldn't feel a pulse. Anyway,
I'm going to throw Francois van der Elst into the old players mix. Oh, bloody hell.
Van der Elst, great. Loved him.
Oh, it's like a bag of ballads. Brilliant. Over the past few streams, Budgie's been cooking while talking to everyone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Multitask, he can do that.
Ooh.
Today I've been mostly listening to Pink Floyd.
Classic,
And,
nice.
Yes. Well, the funny part about it is the advert came out. The Fast Show are doing, I think it's in one of the theatres. You can actually go and see the old Fast Show crew doing their sketches again. So obviously there's a great. Today I have always been.
Today I will be eating carrot.
Yeah, that's the one. Rob, good to see you, mate. Evening, gents. He's saying there. That is true. Yeah, cooking with a question mark.
Right. I'll challenge you to come here to my house and let me cook for you. You know where I am.
Brilliant. It's worse. No, it's different. It's worse. Bit of Floyd. Tadibo now refusing to play.
I heard that.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, don't know. We'll see.
I would say he made pork inside the other week. Keep an eye on what you.
It took me a second.
Going about your pitching your ass reference. Greg ain't choosy, apparently.
Apparently not.
Damien's saying, get him out. Take your time to get the right man while he embarrasses himself, but get him out. I think that's the true comment in there.
Yeah.
In the darker room, Howard used to say hello to Sid Barrett when he was a nipper. I had no idea who the crazy person was in those days, though. Bloody hell. Busted flush for sure. He's not a good manager. His football's terrible. Well, we're seeing that. It's coming to light now, isn't it? And it's amazing how long it's taken this ball to bloody recognise this when everyone's been screaming out for it.
Yeah. I thought this was it. I really did.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like Mark was saying here, Moyes had an identity. You know how he would play. Loppian got to include every week different living, and that's the thing for me.
I agree.
Chopping and changing every single week, no consistency, doesn't breed anything.
I do get where you're coming from. I really do. But remember how much we moaned when Moyes would only pick 11.
Mm-hmm.
True, but at least in certain respects, there was a kind of consistent 11. This fella's chopping and changing. I mean, we knew full well, Alvarez coming back, someone's going to be dropped. We knew when Kudos come back, someone's going to be dropped. And to drop Somerville, when you look at something like that, was that the right idea to do? To drop him, especially when he's been in form? I don't think so.
Yeah.
If anything, you change the midfield area.
I'll be back in 1 sec, Tone. I just got to do something.
That's fine. I'm just going to catch up with the chat anyway.
All right, cool.
Matt saying any other result other than the win, I think he'd be sacked on Monday. Well, I think even with a win, it's proved the point, isn't it? Everyone getting excited about the Newcastle game, but for me, one game doesn't change the season. We knew exactly where it's going to go. I'm going to controversially going to stay the division bell. He was playing Soler, Souček and Alvarez, and Soler's the one clicks in the ball from the back. 4 makes no sense. Got to be well. Yeah, talk about the Pink Floyd. Get him out. He's been terrible since pre-season. He has, Damien. That's for sure. Nick's got a question for you, Lawrence. Going to keep the question innocent and make you feel very comfortable. Do you think Loppy belongs in the effed up section on the hub? If so, why? And if not, why?
What?
I
don't know what to say about that one. I'm kind of lost a bit. So. But Loppy does need to go. And I've been one person who's trying to say no comment, not say anything. But after last week, now, granted, I didn't know about his father's passing him. He should have turned it over to the other team, other coach or something like that, manager. But he's inconsistent. I think, like we said, he plays players out of position. I don't know what tactics he's trying to use. You bring it over 3. Some people, like I think it was Ant, he was saying, were we playing a 4-1-4-1? Were we playing this? They were all over the place, and the players look like they don't have a clue what's going on. So where is your practice where you know where they're playing at? I like that. Get some.
Yeah.
So
the right potatoes right. Yeah. No, it's true, Lawrence.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're getting my questions in early as I've got to go in 40 minutes. So no worries, Nick. Evening's Hot Fuzz. Big up, guys. When is Amrin arriving at West Ham? Brilliant.
We were talking about that. It was another lost opportunity, right? I'm still cheering. I'm still cheering to get the Portuguese guys, our new next coach manager. Now, my wife is Portuguese, so I'm a little biased there. But if you look at the stats and if you look what he's got there, his what we're looking for, I think would fit it well. And I think we got the players that can do it. We need a manager, a coach that can motivate these guys, get them together, hold them accountable, but motivate. You want a coach where they want to carry you off the field, like I saw in a couple of his things when they won some cups and stuff down there. That's the type of person you want. You want one that has respect and able to do that. Nowadays with these players, I'm sorry to say, a lot of times it's not like the old school where you kick them in the ass and just get on there. It's got to be a little more respect and trust, and we're part of like a brotherhood. And that's why, you know what I mean? And that's why these newer coaches kind of came up from that. Like I said, he's only 50. That's not old. And he's got that. I'd like to see something like that. No offense against, Carrick and all these other ones. I don't really want to see Potter. I'm just sorry. I don't. I'd like to see a fresh new coach come in and see what happens. Can't be any worse, right? And like with Potter's all this, there's nothing, I like the idea. I think, Budge, we might have been on a show together. We talked about it. It's like bring somebody in and give them a short-term contract right off. So if this person doesn't have a prem, remember, I think, Budge, you might have been Budge. And remember you were saying for some of these managers that won't have experience, bring them in effort and see if they can prove themselves, right? And see if they see progression.
That's right.
So I don't mind seeing that for someone like this, and I bet you he would do it. Like I said, he left Porto. I don't know what the background, but he left the end of last season. But he proved to do well. So I'm banging on the drum for them. Now it probably won't happen, especially my luck or our luck. But then he'll go to Everton, and all of a sudden they're taking off. So that's the one thing you don't want to see. Or let's see
Everton are probably willing to pay him, pay for him to come out of his contract.
Yeah. And Amber from Man U, Fuzz loves him so much he wants to give him some of his chocolate milk. It's unstoppable around here.
That's true. Before we carry on with the chat and that, just want to say thanks to Russ from the West Ham Network. The mug has finally turned up. It's here.
Nice.
So I've got it there and enjoying the drink. So cheers, everyone.
Nice mug.
Evening, Mandy. Hi, everyone. Potter is now odds on to be our next manager. So there you go.
Man, I'm sorry, Mandy. You're probably right, and it's sad, but whatever. Yeah. I just want to see a new progressive manager.
Of course,
I really do.
Of course. Damien saying style. You were happy with the style versus Newcastle, and I told you it was going to result in us getting dominated by Arsenal. I think and I get that, Damien. It was how we went in with the second game, and all right. Fair play. He kept with the same team that did the job on Monday against Newcastle, but for some reason the balls are still left at slab at Newcastle for some reason. Nick saying next season Hot Fuzz unless we draw you in the cup for Amarin. What's his English like?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if it's him though. I'm sure someone said he spoke about 5 languages or something like that. I don't know if it was actually him. What price is Potter at Mandy? Oof, imagine that one. I mean, I think we've alluded to maybe Potter would be the interim to kind of see this season out, possibly. Maybe that's the reason why he's asking for a short contract.
No,
He declined a short contract. Yeah,
contract.
yeah. He wants a long-term contract. That's the thing.
Ah,
It's-
okay. Sorry. Okay.
But,
I missed
but,
Look,
but,
I'm not being
Tony-
funny or nothing,
Yeah.
but if we take Potter, whether it be now or after Christmas, if we take Potter even as an interim, we're going down at the end of the season. Do not have any faith in his football at all.
I agree with you.
Be interesting. Yeah. Well,
There you go, Mike. All right.
we first concertio, but of course we know what this chairman is like.
No, yeah.
I'd watch Potter when he managed in Sweden. So there, man's got a chunk of the cheese in your head for later. Usual suspect. Mandy saying Sergio Conceição 6-1.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be saying Potter.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, look, Damien wants Mourinho, but can we afford that, man?
I know the changing room can't afford him.
Yeah, that's for sure. It'll be okay, but I don't think Potter's the
It's
answer.
already brittle in there. It already looks like it's brittle in the changing room.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, it must, because I don't know if you watched after the game. You know, when the players are walking off,
Yeah.
and Lopetegui's even. I think when you saw the one with Bowen, it looked uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It looks really uncomfortable because Lopetegui's kind of looking away one bit, Bowen's kind of looking away down and away from him. It's a mess.
And if there was more than one exit of that pitch, you can guarantee most of the players would have taken alternative exits.
Yeah, they would
It
have
looked
run the
that
other way.
It looked really fragile.
Yeah, it's
know?
not good. Not good.
And install somebody like Mourinho in a changing room like that, I'm afraid would be fatal for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sullivan picked the cheapest option. Matt saying, Howard saying, not Putar, please. David saying, give it to Giggsy to end the season.
Giggsy wouldn't come, I don't think, anyway.
Yeah, beautiful dogs. You never know, mate. He speaks English. There you go. Look, he speaks English and Portuguese. Not fluent in English, but it's good enough. My friend's a Porto fan. I loved him. So there you go. He does speak a couple of languages. Good evening, Colin. How are we doing? Good evening, Tony Budgie. Lawrence, disgusted Loppy. Staying cowards. I'm in Adam Brooks Hospital with my friend. Been here since 11 a.m. Had x-rays, but still waiting to see doctor. Same, mate. And thanks for tuning in, even though you're there, mate. Appreciate that.
Our thoughts are with you and your pal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Nick saying pragmatic manager sometimes, but plays good football. We'll take that. Take that as well. Yeah, look, happy saying hope you and your friend are okay. Usually says, get McLaren. He speaks perfect Dutch. He's already got that Jamaican twang in his voice now when you hear him talking. Nick, fair enough. I don't want to hear him speak English. I hope it's not broken. Mourinho speaks English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Italian. And has a huge personality. Yeah.
Too big.
Yes, there is that.
Damien. I respect, your views, mate, but for me, I think Mourinho would be toxic in this club. It's already fragile or brittle or however you want to put it. And I'm afraid that kind of character, what you need is, dare I say it, you need a character like Southgate. I'm not suggesting that we should have him as our coach because I wouldn't want him. But you need a character like Southgate, one that can absorb a load of stuff. And Mourinho's not that man. He can't absorb anything. He retaliates every time he's criticised, etc. Don't think that'd be good for the club.
No. We know what he can do, but can he bring it the style he did when he first came into Chelsea? I think that's long gone now. Is he a long-term option? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I think what was quite ironic on Tuesday's game is the fact that the pundits they had on the show was Graham Potter and Nolan. So it's like, oh, right, we've got the new manager and the first team coach both sitting in the talking on the show there, and they're thinking, right, we're going to get that call soon. We'll be back again. We'll be back. Dear me.
I think for me, I think there's too much pressure now on Lopetegui for him to succeed. I absolutely believe that he's now set up to fail miserably.
Yeah.
And like, if he takes us down with him, that's tens of thousands of fans reluctant to buy their, season tickets, or reluctant to pay for their sports subscription or wherever they are in the world. And, that's revenue lost for the club. So, to be fair, if you're a businessman, the way to go about it is appease the people that pay your bloody wages.
Oh, yeah.
That's the key thing, isn't it? That's the key thing.
And,
Michael was saying about the Leicester game. Sorry, mate.
And we do. A large part of the money that goes into the club is through things like Sky subscriptions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you talk to a good 70% of West Ham fans. 100% of West Ham fans abroad.
True.
And they all subscribe to the TV, right? All of them. And, you look at someone like yourself, Lawrence, you have to subscribe to one thing for the league games, one thing for cup games, one thing for friendlies, one thing for internationals. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The amount of money.
Paramount Plus, you're right. ESPN Plus, all these different things just to get the different things.
Yeah. And it's the same in Australia. I know that because obviously Kieran goes on about it all the bloody time. No, but joking aside, though, so we do pay a large amount into the club every year. Whether we buy merchandise or go to the stadium is irrelevant. You've only got to pay your Sky subscription or your ESPN or Paramount Plus or whoever it is. You're paying into every club in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But, our club gets a certain percentage of that. And therefore, we feel that we're paying that percentage as West Ham.
True. I agree on that. Mark, like with this one here, saying about our lack of pace stood out so much we got beaten by a 38-year-old. And we did the watch along on Tuesday. We actually integrated with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the first thing I saw when I saw Vardy's face in that, I said, he's hungry. He's going to do us damage. Just by looking at his face, he was so focused. That's the difference, Yeah. And he's still got that passion at that age. Brilliant.
Oh, he's a passionate guy. You see it every time he comes out on that pitch. He's like angry. Everyone like, I'm ready to go.
But I felt that the whole Leicester team came out with the attitude, look, we ain't going to be no one's whipping boys this year.
Yeah.
And we're going to show it against a team who, on paper, should beat us.
Yeah. No, true.
They absolutely rinsed us,
Yeah, a new one, as they say. Good evening to Vince Turnell. Good to see you in here. Time to start boycotting because it's the only thing that will make Sullivan sit up and notice. Got to be uniformed on that one, though.
How many people boycotting really doesn't do an awful lot because the tickets are already sold. 90% of them are already sold, season tickets. And people are not going to get refunds on their season tickets because they want to boycott the club. I know what you're saying, Vince, and I agree with the principle, but in practice, it doesn't cut the money, which is where Sullivan would suffer if the money was cut, because the tickets are already paid for. And it would be nothing for them to fill the stadium up with tourists.
Yeah, which we've seen. I mean, obviously, the Arsenal game, look at that one, where, as we know, the stewards are not run by us, it's not run by the LDC, and the fact that Arsenal fans could be in the home end, mixing out with local fans, that's bad.
I've
Because,
spoken
you
to
know,
quite a few of the stewards at the London Stadium, Tony. And
mm,
one of the questions I ask them is, who do you support, mate? Most of them are Man United and Arsenal fans.
I thought that'd be the case.
I'm telling you that right here, right now.
Yeah.
The only one steward that I know is a West Ham fan is Mo, cyber leader,
Yeah.
him. And he is the only West Ham fan I know that's ever done any stewarding at that stadium. And a majority of them are either not interested in football, which is a job, or Manchester United or Arsenal.
Mm.
Why they've got, that should be one of the questions I ask the people that do that job.
Yeah.
Arsenal or a Man United fan ain't going to give a shit
No.
if Millwall fans get in amongst the West Ham fans or Tottenham fans get in amongst them, or
True.
they're not going to give a shit. They clearly don't.
And that's the difference, isn't it? I mean, Upton Park, the most of the stewards there and that was all about the club because they know they can watch the game for free. I mean, it was one of those.
Yeah. I mean, the stewards now, though, they have to have their back to the pitch and everything.
Yeah.
Which is why they don't give a toss.
Like we were saying, so this meeting was all for now today then. Possibly.
That's how I feel about it, mate. I've got to be honest.
I think, like I said to you, earlier, I think it's just maybe they're trying to get the right manager, or the manager they're looking for is kind of maybe playing hardball, and this is their way of giving a couple of days grace so they can talk to him a bit further, makes a bit of progress, and hopefully, regardless of the result, win, lose or draw, they still get a shot of him, and whoever this person they might be interested in, they can get him in over the line. It could be that, but that's my suggestion. I could be wrong on that.
Can I ask you a question, Lawrence?
Yes.
You're a very keen sports fan, that we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have certain teams from different sports that you follow.
Yeah.
Right? So if your NFL team loses, you're obviously disappointed. If your NHL team loses, you're obviously disappointed. And so on and so forth down the line. And then when West Ham lose, clearly you're disappointed. We know that. We see that. Which one affects you the most?
Right now, I can honestly tell you after the last 6 years, West Ham. West Ham and probably the Ravens for the NFL team. West Ham will be something where it'll ruin my whole day. And my wife will be like, you got to turn your attitude around a little bit. And sometimes it's not at her. It's just quiet and frustrated and pissed off, and you're just agitated.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like I love West Ham. I love the fan base. I love the team. I love everything about it. And when I'm all in, I'm all in. So because mostly all the teams that I really cheer for professionally or from where I grew up. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. So all my pro teams are from where I grew up. And then I told you that West Ham was a shipbuilding town, blue collar, exactly where I came up from, Baltimore, same exact thing. So I got that connection there. Then I started, being with you guys and stuff like that. That's all she wrote. And now, if it's a Saturday morning and we lose, my whole weekend's screwed. So it's probably good that we're playing Tuesday and Mondays because Mondays suck anyway, and Tuesdays ain't any better. By Friday, I might feel a little bit better, right?
I mean, the reason I asked that question is because, because as I said, you're not really a diehard soccer fan. You're not a diehard NHL fan or an or NBA fan or whatever. You are a sports fan of all disciplines. And that's why I asked you which one hurts the most, because football seems to do that to us. Yeah. I'm a Formula One fan. Love it. Loved it all my life. And right now, I'm kind of cheering for Lewis Hamilton still because he's a world record breaker, etc., etc. And it really hurts to see him finishing below the top 5, etc. And qualifying badly and having, mix-ups with other cars where he wouldn't have done that 5 years ago. But doesn't make my Monday any worse.
Yeah.
But losing at the weekend with West Ham
Even
makes the
Pepsi.
whole week awful for me.
It really does. And it's kind of like you don't want to watch you guys, Sky Sports, whatever. After they lose, you don't want to hear anything. It's kind of like that with the Baltimore Ravens. If they lose on that, I will not watch ESPN the next day because you just know what's going to happen and all that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing is, we do talk about the team a lot between us all, on various channels. And so, we feel like we're a little bit more invested than some people.
oh, I agree.
I mean, there are so many people in the chat, like Nick, like Damien, like Happy, like usual. And, hot fuzz for as far as Man United are concerned, and Anthony and Jez and all these people, they're all invested in their club so much, and they're all taken up their week by either praising the club or the players or the performance or criticizing it or pulling it apart or selecting what they would like to happen, in the future and stuff. We all do that, and we put ourselves through that on a daily, weekly, annually basis. We all do that to ourselves. None of us have got a gun to our head to do it, and that. Right?
True.
But I have not yet found a forum like football for other sports, like, for example, Formula One, which I am interested in. There's not really a community like there is in football.
That's a good point, Budge, because I think, for some of the professional sports, this is the only one I follow in the chat to do all that. They have, I can honestly, they have different things like that for some of the professional sports, but nothing compares to how it is in the Premier League and the fan base and stuff like that. There's not even a close. And I always talk to people in the U.S. and stuff like that. It's just like, the singing and stuff like that. My wife thinks I'm crazy because we'll sit in the couch Saturday morning, and when they start, they're singing Bubbles. I'm singing it in there. And it's just a whole nother thing. I'm just grateful that I got introduced to it. And I've been part of it for a while now because I love it. I really do. And the frustrations we have and stuff.
I mean,
I love sports.
There's a bigger community for simulator racing than there is for Formula One.
Yeah,
there's a massive community for that.
Yeah.
that just kind of says it all. There, you mentioned they did that with football. Wow. Comment here
that community for like Football Manager and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. There is.
Oh,
yeah,
I've heard about that.
Don't ask Jez that because apparently he's shite. He's no good at doing it
I've never played it.
Neither have I.
There you go.
Interesting comment here from Matthew Clark. Good evening to you, Matthew. Good to be on the show.
And
today, my dad said, "Yeah, I couldn't say anything. Give up, Matt. It's not our club anymore. I wonder how many people are feeling like this."
But if your dad is saying it to you, it's not our club anymore. Obviously, his dad's a Hammers fan as well. And he's probably either in your age group, my age group, Lawrence's age group, somewhere maybe, it's not our club anymore. That is exactly what I've been saying for months and months and months. It's exactly what Tony's been saying. Lawrence has been saying it. People like Gio and Gonzo, they've been saying it. It's not our club anymore. It's an unrecognisable enigma now. It's an enigma. We never know what it's going to be doing there.
No, not at all. I mean, Damien's put it here. Truth to be told, I gave up on the games before Chelsea, whatever that was. I refused to watch it. I know we were going to get annihilated, and I know we were versus Arsenal. He's very naive, and it's a great statement,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
when you disappear, you say budget to check on his souffle.
Well, it actually wasn't souffles. No. It's the dog food. I had to feed the dog.
There you go.
There's a question I'm going to get from Rob, but first we'll do that. Just want to go back to a couple of comments I've starred, and that's from Happy, where she's saying, look, Look how much our players have depreciated over the last 6 months. How does Kretinsky put all of that as a shrewd businessman?
That's a good point.
I mean, we know obviously he's
How
trying
about
to
it?
the post office, and yeah, exactly, Lawrence. What is he really here for?
Yeah. How much involvement is he in that?
You know?
Well, I'll tell you why he's here. Because he was the highest bidder on the shares that were
Shocker.
available. And he's got great business acumen.
Mhm.
He's got a fantastic portfolio. And West Ham thought, great, we'll have some of that. And
Yeah.
they did. They got some of it, you know. And to be fair, he's invested in the club reasonably. And he's obviously had his returns from the club. He don't want to run the club daily, monthly, weekly. He just wants to be told by his advisors, the club's in a little bit of trouble. 50 million quid might help sort it out. He writes the check.
I wonder how he
good.
feels about his return on investment after the signing window, which was one of our biggest, and how it's doing right now.
Well,
So
this is
hopefully it's like the stock market where it goes down and comes back up. But to come back up, you
Yeah.
need to have a proper
well,
person
this
to do
is
it
the thing.
and finance it. And that's why we got to get somebody to take that team and move them forward.
As a large shareholder, he is fully entitled to say, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I want to question the man that's that's controlling my money.
Yeah.
Whether that be Tim Stuyton or Matt the coach or whatever, he has that right. But actually, I think at this moment in time, he's being overruled by GSB, if you prefer, or Sullivan Brady. I think he's being overruled by them, and I think he's being told, keep out of it. We're about to sell out. So, you know.
Yeah, could be the case.
That is a feeling I have. That isn't based on any facts, you know, but that's just a feeling I have.
I get that. Robert's asking the question to us: when everyone's fit, what's your first 11?
Good question. Well, for me, I know Fabianski's done nothing wrong, and he continues to surprise me as a goalkeeper. But I do believe that Areola's a better keeper. So I'd start with Areola. What about you, Lawrence?
I'm shocked that Areola didn't come in Tuesday after the weekend. You know, the team played bad, but Fab wasn't great either. That was his opportunity to bring him in and to keep Fab there was there. Fab, you know, like it or not, because we got to remember, Areola just was playing bad. He really was. That's why Fab came in and he started playing better. And it's I think Tony might have said that we need a new goalkeeper to come in maybe soon to like in January or something. I think we need a transition there. Give Areola a chance, but their distribution's poor. But I'd give Areola another chance. But right now, this was the opportunity to do it, I guess. You know, you had a quick Saturday and Tuesday match just to see if Areola was better. But now you're going back to week. So, you know, I think I'd give Fab one more shot in it and see how he comes out.
Fair play. What about you, Tony?
I mean, when you look at it, I get the Areola situation. Fabianski's, as you said, not exactly kind of put a foot wrong. You've got to think where the ball's lost first of all out on the pitch, and then he's got to deal with it afterwards. But no one looks at where it was lost in the first place. Yeah. So maybe keep him in there. Emerson, when he's fully fit, keep him in on the left. Then you've obviously got the likes of Kilman. Yeah. Todibo or Mavropanos? For me, Mavropanos was at fault for a couple of the goals on Tuesday.
Yeah,
it was awful.
See, for me,
you know,
I would go Emerson left, then I would go Mavropanos, Todibo, and Kilman in the back three, with Wan-Bissaka out on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have 5 across the back, or 3 across the back if you want to put it that way. But I would have those 5 across the back, and then I would have Alvarez and Paquetá in front of them, and then in front of them it would be Somerville, Kudus, Bowen for me.
Yeah, I mean, the Paqueta one at the moment, I suppose he might be fit, but he says not right. You know, with the hearing and everything else coming up.
Yeah.
Solo's kind of proven himself a little bit more now. We're seeing a bit more of him.
Sola could play in place of Paqueta in that lineup.
There's that as well. And of course, yeah, I mean, Bowen and Somerville out in the wings and that, and even you have Kudus just sitting behind, even if you're stuck with Antonio.
Of course, no.
I suppose the only thing we've not really mentioned there, which was I had to pinch myself twice to make sure I was looking at the right player, but we actually saw Fulkrug come on.
That's right.
And I still wouldn't play him.
You know, but at the same point, he got us a goal and he nearly got a second. So when you look at it like that, it just shows you he knows where the goal is, which is
first
good.
appearance, excitement, etc., etc.
Yeah, he's out for the rest of the season there, Budge, apparently. So, we've only seen every 2 months he plays a game and he's off for another two.
But no, joking aside, okay, he's shown that he knows where the goal is and he's shown that he can be a nuisance in the box, etc. That's good. It's really good. But at this moment in time, that's what he should be. At the moment, he should be that impact substitute.
And
Antonio as well. I believe if you played Kudus as the centre attacker, whether it be a false nine or whatever you want to call it, you got Somerville to the left and Bowen to the right of him. You got, Soler and Alvarez in the midfield behind them. And then, as I said, the 5 behind them and the 2 wingers bombing forward, etc. I think for now, for the moment, that would probably be a fairly solid 11 for us.
Yeah.
Because every single one of them players wants to keep that shirt.
Yeah, I agree on that. So moving on for the chat. Howard's asking you, Lawrence, where actually in Portugal is your missus from?
My wife is from the island of the Azores. There's 8 islands on the Azores that are part of Portugal. And she's from Terceira. So it's one of the 9 islands. It's the second biggest island, the Portuguese island. So it's about a 2-hour plane ride from the Azores to the mainland.
Right.
Nick said, I think my granddad will be a better coach than Loppy. He communicate better than Loppy for starters, and then understand what he wants from the players much, much better too. Oh, by the way, he's dead. So he's still going to give a better performance. The multiple is so true. Aaron Bazaka on the right, Kudus on the left. Beggars believe how this fella has blagged a career makes me want to cry. Nick saying, loves the mug. Thank you, mate. Howard saying, same mug as me from Russie B. Yes, he's finally come good, old Russ. So I can't complain on that.
Mine's slightly different. I got one of the originals.
Ah, well, of course,
I need a little ball guy to be Benny Hill.
Hold on, let me just get it down a little bit. There you go.
There you go.
Hey, disappeared completely.
See,
yeah, he smacked me into the ground, Budgie. That's what it was.
Now, you're showing your age to do the Benny Hill references because I use them a lot too, and it kind of shows. That's back of it.
Steve, West Ham United. Bill,
Steve,
good to
what's
see you. I folks hope we're well considering.
Mr.
Yeah,
Bell?
absolutely, Steve. You're not wrong there. He's just saying hello to each other. He kept the same team as he did against Newcastle, yes, but he didn't keep the same tactics versus Newcastle. Souček was a CDM, but he changed it to a double pivot versus Arsenal, and then Leicester, and then. And this is where the consistency goes out the window.
Yeah.
Matthew saying, let's be honest, Arsenal are easily the best team we've played all season and just proved how far ahead the top 6 are from our current level. That's a great statement.
That's a very good statement.
That is a good statement. Yes, indeed.
Good evening, Sharky. Hi, lads. Hope you're well, Sharky.
Okay.
Making a throw look like a micro. Let's try and catch up with this chat, and then we can move on to the Green Street Elites.
Oh yeah.
So they're all saying like there. Evening, Daz. Hope you will. Do you think if Loppy loses at Wolves, he'll get the bullet? We can only hope and pray, mate. We can only
got the
hope and
bullet.
pray.
At this rate, he'll get another star taken off his little chart.
Michael Taylor saying, what's the point in using Wolves as the barometer to decide whether Lopetegui stays or not? It doesn't tell us anything if we win. True. It just means we're going to long this out as long as possible with this fella.
But like earlier on, I said about watching the teams over our shoulder, Wolves being one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and we are very capable of taking a heavy loss against Wolves.
Yeah. We're about anybody right now.
We've done it before. Adama Traore, when he was playing for them, didn't they beat us 4-1 one time?
I believe at one point they did. Yeah, it was a bit unexpected as well, that result. But hey, you know, how was saying Brighton have equalised in their game.
Performing to those levels.
Yeah,
we've gone from a full Fiesta to Robin Reliant.
Exactly that. And one of them wheels is a bit wobbly.
What do you think they at least fast smell like? I wouldn't like to think of that one. Yeah, money, yeah, folding money, crisp. Fair the millionaire. Sewage, Nick. Yeah, oh, that's a great one for having. Look, silicon. Yeah. Howard saying latex. Matt saying sulfur.
It's just getting worse and worse.
I respect your thought, Damien.
I think you're saying here thoughts on Scott Parker.
Yeah. Now, Scott Parker's another name that's been bantered about a bit. For me, I think that he would probably fit in very well at the club. I just fear that he might not be brutal enough. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah.
I think maybe look, we've seen Scotty Parker lose it on the sidelines when he was with Fulham and that.
Yeah.
We've seen him really proper lose it. So no, I don't doubt that he can put people in their place at all. But what I mean is like, is he going to be brutal enough to go, I don't care how much you're worth, I don't care what your wages are, I don't care if your name is Paqueta, Kudus, whatever. If you don't perform for me, you're not getting a start.
Absolutely.
Simple.
That's why I see it.
And that's what we need. You know, look, you know, some of us, including me at times, when I first named my favourite starting 11, I put Paqueta in there straight away. I shouldn't have done. I should have put Soler in there, and you reminded me of why I should have done so.
Yeah.
Because he's been working a lot frigging harder than Paqueta has.
That's right.
And he hasn't got half as many hang-ups as Paqueta has.
No, it's true. Colin's still waiting for the doctor to come, but he's saying Loppy will take us into relegation. And I did say I wanted him gone after the Chelsea game. I could see this happening. You did indeed.
You did, Colin. You indeed.
We are where we are still. Breaking news, apparently. West Ham are eyeing Brighton's James Milner for a January move. At 38, his experience and versatility could bring depth and leadership as the Hammers aim to strengthen their squad. As Anthony says, we always buy the old ones.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Mandy's happy that the Spuds are losing. I think we all are at that stage.
Oh, we are.
NWO Police, he has been about on a couple of the shows recently that I've watched on West Ham Network. So, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, Abby saying that as well.
There we go.
Okay, cool. Just catch something there. NWO's on Steele's Monday Manders.
There you go.
Yeah. Timmy said, I'll get me coat. Desi saying, when Loppy goes, who do you want as manager? Well, I'd love, and I'm still going to stick with it, Thomas Frank all day long for me. But I know that's not going to happen. Unfortunately.
That's a great shout, though. That is a great shout. What about you, Lawrence?
You know who I'm stick with? My Portuguese man, Sergio.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I like.
Modern,
progressive.
And something to move forward, something that's going to elevate us up a little bit. That's what we want.
And I bet you, since he's coming in, like Budgie's kind of thing, which makes sense, he probably would take maybe a short term, see how he does throughout the year, and then negotiate some more in the summertime, see how he progress.
Yeah, take that.
My dream appointment is Ancelotti. Never going to happen. but that would be my dream appointment. But I would be extremely happy with Carrick.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
like your guy, though. I think too.
I think, yeah. I mean, as you said, he knows the club. He knows how it kind of
Yeah.
works. He knows the West Ham
Yeah.
way. If we know that, you know. So there's that. Should be good.
And he is not afraid to drop a good name.
No.
He's
Yeah.
done it at Borough, you know.
Mm.
He fined one of his players for turning up 15 minutes late for training or something. And because the player made a complaint to Carrick's boss, he put him on the bench for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's not afraid to implement change and
No.
stability and bit of, you know, military, you know, kind of approach, if you like. You know, he's got that, you know, do it right or don't do it.
Mm.
Simple.
And that's
You
what
know.
you want, really, rather than a yes
Yeah.
man, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, Margaret Taylor saying here, look, Sky TV on Monday, having a fans protest in front of the cameras won't go down well. And Nick and Happy have been talking about the same thing, basically. Manny agrees with me. Should just buy it. Thomas Frank, clause for 9 million. So pay it. Pay it.
Mate, if I had it in my account, I'd bloody offer it to him to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as Happy said, look, other clubs revolt to get managers there. The only one we've really done that with was Bakari.
Yeah. And to
That's
be
the
fair, you know, it's going to look a little bit embarrassing for us as fans
Mm.
when that does happen, because you're going to have the likes of your Jason Cundys and all them lot going,
Yeah.
see, we told you, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, you know,
Oh gosh,
yeah.
I know.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's happening already, but it's going to happen big time. You watch.
Damien's still saying, you know, we're going to get Potter. Yeah, it looks that way. It does look that way.
Jeez.
Please no.
And Michael Taylor saying Sullivan should be Sullivan out protest petition for Sullivan to sell up.
I
We
like
can only
that
hope.
idea, Michael.
We can only hope. Michael Blees is saying Millwall versus the Daggers. I bet the way support was there will be massive. Go on, mate. Imagine what that would be like.
They'll be in claret and blue and all, I expect most of them.
Yeah, that's true. What's Mark Ashley up to? I think he's trying to do things with Elsa Fraser, Debenhams and all that malarkey, I do believe. Potter is
Probably
keen.
sunning himself on a beach in Miami, if I know him.
Oh, Timmy, that would be lovely. Qatar will buy. Looking for a foothold in London football. Petrol pays the rent. That would be very nice.
Mate, wouldn't that be good, though? Wouldn't that be good? I mean, it wouldn't be so good for, you know, height challenge people wearing club shirts with the sponsorship Elf on it. But, you know.
Well, just saying that part there, do you remember when we had you know, old Egghead and the other fellow in the background, which was basically the money man, and of course we know the Icelandic market crashed and basically lost all his fortune.
Yeah.
What do you think if that didn't happen? What direction do you think we would have gone as a club with a billionaire owner like we had?
It's quite possible it could have gone quite similarly to the way it's gone with Golden Sullivan.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's entirely possible. I think somebody that would look at the club history from the outside looking in, as it were, to buy into a club would have to look at the history in as a whole, not just their results history or their trophy history or their management history. They've also got to look at the media history and stuff like that as well, because if you read West Ham's media history, it would be very damning for this club.
Yes,
right?
Agree on that.
But if someone was still willing to take the club on with that damning evidence, as it were, and go, no, I'm going to push this club forward, then I think it would take more than just one person.
Yeah.
I think it would take a conglomerate of maybe even a nation, if you get my drift,
Yeah.
that haven't got the moral standards that we as English people tend to have.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, Nick's put a load of old has-beens as managers for our club, which probably could have, got some truth in there. But Michael Taylor saying, no point in speculating about what new manager we're going to get in. Sullivan does exactly what he wants. The rest of the board are just cardboard cutouts, which is probably about right.
Yeah.
Talk about Lewis with the old Formula One.
Yeah, I think he will. I've got to be honest. Big up,
Stephanie. Good to see you.
And this is Lawrence, by the way, down here, Stephanie.
Absolutely, yeah.
Stephanie?
He's one of our brothers from another mother on another coast across the pond.
Follow the team longer than the Borden Stein. Yeah, true. I think we all have at this point. Yeah. 18 to 25. Brilliant. Poor effort from me. D minus, the usual saying. Well, they talk about we're trying to catch up with this chat at the moment. Next biggest sporting community is probably cricket international team support.
That's probably true, mate. Yeah, because there's quite a big following cricket.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great one as well. Look, when the club was taken out of Upton Park, it lost its connection with the local community.
Very much so. And, to its credit, to the club's credit, it has attracted many, many more foreign supporters.
No, that's true. Cool.
And that, but, it has lost the club's identity to some degree.
Yeah. George, remember the old gold shares? 10% gold shares are available. Let's have a whip round. Then we've all got skins in the game. That's true. Damien's choice would be for the team: Ariola, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Emerson, Alvarez, Paquette, or Souček, dependent on the opposition. Kudus as a 10, Bowen, Somerville, and Antonio. It's great.
So it's a 4-2-3-1 type of deal there?
Something like that, yeah. I think he's obviously forgot Kilman in that as well.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
How has Loppy ever been successful? I just don't get it. Yeah.
Who knows? When he was at Sevilla, he was quite successful.
I mean, look at that. Ariola was banished to the under-21s versus Lyon game Tuesday. Sad affair. Shows how Loppy treats players who tell him the truth.
Yeah.
And Rob's coming in with keeper is the toughest job in the team. One mistake is costly. Got to cut those out. Yeah, know that one.
And they obviously can be minimised if the players in front of them are minimising the efforts getting past them.
Yeah, 100% there.
Yeah.
Steve saying, my worry is got to. I mean, as I said earlier, if the forwards lose the ball, because they should defend from the front, if they lose it and it comes from the midfield and it comes to the keeper, Rob's right what you're saying. It's all eyes and finger pointing that way, but they lost it up there.
Yeah.
And you ask them for service, we give you service, you lost the ball, it's back down the other end of the pitch again.
In a few minutes, guys, we're going to start chatting about Alan Devonshire. So if you've got any memories or, whatever that you want to share, stories that you want to share on Alan Devonshire, start typing them out now, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, better than what Robert's been picking through. Pan Am makes the going great. Pan Am makes the going great. Pan Am, do you remember them?
Yeah, I do. An American airline.
Fulham 2-1 up now against Brighton.
Good.
Sullivan using the club as his own plaything, yeah. The same there. 4-2-3-1 and counter-attacking is what we should be playing.
We should.
I believe we can learn a lot from Lopetegui. I might get some good tips off him for these PowerPoint presentations. We managed to beat Wolves or take a draw, and Loppy gets the next few games again. Players become even more disinterested, more arguments, fans get even more depressed, rinse and repeat. And I think we can all see that's what's going to come, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell, look. Rumour is that Wolves are dusting off the cobwebs for Steve Ball for Monday.
Fucking hell. They're going to
Oh,
bring
actually,
Derek Dugan on at half time.
yeah,
Oh, you probably wouldn't remember Derek Dugan, would you?
nah.
Oh, during like 60s and 70s, he was a big old lump. Big old centre forward for him, he was. For Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, great big lump.
Yeah, but we'll say, yeah, you bring on Duggan and Ball and that. We bring on Boogers and Mike Small. Deal with that one. Let Bowen's father-in-law sort of floppy out. Yeah, need to do that. Might be. Oh, Fulham's gonna get a nice little lead there. Fulham now winning 3-1.
Oh, lovely.
Steve Bell saying obviously the Zerbi. Would you take him?
I probably would if he was available and wanted to come. He's not the sort of player, the sort of manager that I would want to come to West Ham if his first reaction is, actually, I'm happy in the job I'm in. If that's his first reaction to an approach, I would say leave it at that, because he's not going to give you 100%. He's going to feel regret at leaving the job he's in. Let him lose faith in that job first before bringing him in. Let him be hungry for success.
Michael saying Potter's sniffing around now. His last payday from Chelsea was the end of November. That could be the reason why he wants to get himself in.
Yeah.
He's getting paid. Yeah, that's not there. And good evening to Rob, the West Ham Massive. Good evening. Oh,
What's up, buddy?
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Devonshire. See?
Bramps.
Great link. Great link. Yeah, that's what he calls her. Really naughty on that.
I also love the Lamar advert tune. Stevie Lange, bloody hell, talking about some old stuff. We'll have to get you on one time, Rob. If you fancy it coming on the West Ham review, just let us know, mate. I'd love to have you on board as well.
Hey, ask Gatesy how he feels about having the other team's fans in our side of the stadium.
Oh, don't ask him that. Don't ask him that. Not unless you want expletive all across the screen. I think those of us that know Gatesy know what his feelings are on that one, mate.
Oh, trust me, I know. It's called sarcasm because I saw it.
Yeah, mate, I know. God, blimey, talk about turn the air blue.
Tony, now Alan Devonshire had a tash. Yes, he did indeed. Yes, he did have a tash.
He did.
God, Dev, 1986 at Stamford Bridge, first goal of the 4-0 win. Oh, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dev was like Quicksilver, fluid. My favourite custard, yeah. 150 million to go backwards, he's saying. So we're getting up there. Top drawer. Old man, good to see you in here as well. Oi, Gorgeous is here.
Yeah, old man.
Good to see him. Great shout from Timmy as well. Clyde Best.
Another one of my favourite all-time West Ham players. So, yeah, we will do a little section on him one day soon. Definitely.
Brilliant. I think De Zerbi's fallen out with Marseille. I think he has actually, Steve. So there's an opportunity, but we know our chairman don't jump on quick enough with this.
No, they don't.
Anytime.
But maybe at this moment in time, though, there may be a little bit of we've got to sort something out in the air. You know what I mean? They might go, hang on, look, he's having trouble over there. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. You never know.
You're being very mischievous, chaps. This man down here is being mischievous. It's him who's being mischievous.
Gates,
me and Budgie are being, we're being very respectful.
We're on your side of the fence on this one, Rob.
I am too. And I remember doing a thing. He was like, I didn't see nothing wrong. It's not that I don't see anything wrong with it, because back in the day, you wouldn't have that there. They'd be fighting in the stadium all the time. You see it's more there. But I understand totally. I wouldn't want them there either. But I think it's just more controlled, like in the States for some of the sports events there. But again, it's. I'm with you, Gatesy. I'm with you.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yep.
Let's
Hey,
move
just before
on.
you go,
Already-
because this is going to be budget, I'm going to hop on. I got to start making the wife some dinner. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me on. Great in the chat. I'll try to
Lawrence,
follow on
thanks
in
again.
the chat while I can, and I'll pop it on. All right.
Always
You
a
guys
pleasure
take
to
care.
talk to you, Lawrence.
All right. You guys
Catch
take
you.
care. All right.
And you
Give
as
our
well.
love and
Take care.
respect to the wife, mate, and the family.
I sure will. Later.
Thank you. Evening, Richard. Anthony's brother. Good to see him in here as well.
Mr. Herbert, good evening, sir.
Michael saying Devonshire was way in front of the times. The Flash couldn't catch him. Core, definitely.
Mate, he was quick as a lightning. Yeah, mate, he was.
Thomas Repka was hard as old boots. Yeah, I love Thomas Repka.
Yeah, mate.
Much love and respect. He's saying there. His Monday losers. Oh, get potty. They're saying there. Memories of Brooklyn Bonds, Lampard Senior. That's when we had an identity.
Of course. Of course.
Dabazel Sakio. Yes, indeed, Richard. It has been. Yossi Benayoun. What a player that he was as well.
Right, yeah.
Steve saying we need a bit of a nutter in the side. Someone in the mould of Repka to get him going. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you likes of Repka or Dixie or Monka.
Dix on the left hand side, Repka on the right hand side. You know,
Monka in front of them.
kick the crap all over him. That's a bit too whimsical for me, usual. And then all of a sudden, Gatesy saying, I met Frank Napa. I've seen her last night. Legend and a gent. He definitely is, old Frank.
Yeah, it's a lovely picture of you with him and Tony Cotty, I believe it is.
Nice. Right, gent. So we're going to move on to the next thing. So let's get ready for this one.
Yo, massive, massive. 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 Yo, massive. Yo, massive. Massive.
And thank you for that, Budgie.
Cool, mate. Cool. Alan Devonshire. Well, one of the things that I remember most about Alan Devonshire is that he was a very unassuming character, never really drew attention to himself as a person. As a player, you couldn't not notice him. But as a person, you know, he never really drew attention to himself. He was, you know, quite a respectful kind of guy. Always gave time to the fans from what I remember of him, you know, and also, you know, post-match interviews and that, he was rare for him to do them, but when he did, you could see he was a little bit out of place with it, you know. So, you know, for me, just a genuinely nice guy, an absolutely incredible football player, and a Green Street elite, an absolute legend for the club.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember being him, you know, at Upton Park and watching him on the pitch and that. And in years to come, someone that kind of, I don't know if he actually emulated him, but very close to it, and that was Stuart Slater. He reminded me of Devonshire, basically. And I've just had this sent from Rob Carpenter, and I don't know if you can see this, but there you go.
No.
That is Rob with Devonshire.
Love that. Love that. Brilliant.
You know,
Excellent.
brilliant photo.
Nice. Unfortunately, I haven't got any of my memorabilia from back in those days, and that I had so many life changes since then that stuff goes missing, you know, like my music collection.
Rob saying there, look, Devon was my hero, was a mascot at the age of 10, and he was my picker's favourite player. Tony, and I've got it there, mate, and Rob, appreciate that, mate, for, you know, sending it over. Gatesy saying it was actually Pearson who got the assist for Brooklyn in the 80s.
Well, then all of the stuff that I was reading the other day was clearly wrong. Then claimed it was him. But hey, thanks for that, Gatesy. Much appreciated.
Devonshire was an absolute jewel of a player. Loved watching him.
Yeah.
And Richard's saying, I do like hearing about the old West Ham days from people. I've got to admit, yeah, there's some good stories. There is. Some really...
And one of the things that was undeniably Devonshire was the way he used his feet on the run, and it never looked clumsy. It always looked absolutely choreographed, and he was one of them players that was blessed with fantastic ball control, and that was one of my everlasting memories of him, was his ball control.
Yeah. Because when you were saying that, there's a comment I thought of in that, and Steve Bell has just kind of thought exactly the same thing on the same wavelength. Because that's what I thought about it. When you see Devonshire on the pitch, he just literally glided across it.
He did. And, there weren't that many players at West Ham throughout history that have just glided across the pitch like that. Yeah. I mean, there are one or two, and we'll get to them later in this series of chats. But yeah, I mean, right, okay. Blocked from the cross, then Pearson shot again. Right, okay. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. So yeah, we've had a number of great players, but with Devonshire, like you said, he tended to glide across the pitch. He rarely got into scrapes with other players. There was very rarely any players squaring up to him, because he was never a dirty player. He never left his foot in or anything like that. If anything, he'd skip over the legs and, carry on, and he'd frustrate players in that way. But he wouldn't frustrate them in the way that they would want to physically retaliate against him. It was more a case of, right, I'm not going to let him do that to me next time, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the old school way, though, isn't it? That's for sure.
And Devonshire had a way of, taking you one way as an opposing player. He could take you one way 2-3 times, and then on the 4th time or 5th time or whatever, when you're preparing, if he got taken to your right again, mate, he'd put it through your legs or something, and then pop over your left leg. It was brilliant. I mean, he was spontaneous, but so calculated. It was unbelievable.
I mean, Michael saying here, Michael Taylor loved it when both Brooklyn and Devonshire were playing in the same team for that short time. Matt saying obviously about the Lopetegui, the Monday game, which is definitely the biggest thing that's coming up for us. Rob saying the goal in the semi for Dev was special. Yeah, agree on that. Yeah. And Rob Carpenter saying closest Dev wasn't Hammer, but Waddle was his replica. Yeah, it's true.
I kind of see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Still watch Devonshire. Timmy saying big match replay is on the tube. Silky.
Yeah. And there are 1 or 2 videos. In fact, what I'm going to do is in the chat in a second, I'm going to put a couple of links into videos. One of them's from Canning Town Len. Sure, he won't mind us sharing the link. It's a really good, tribute video on Devo. It's absolutely brilliant, as you would imagine from Canning Town Len. And the other one is just a link to his goals. It's only a 5 or 6 minute video. And actually, weirdly enough, there are only 29 goals. And I would hate to think how many assists there are, because obviously they didn't list them. But I would imagine that would be in the high 70s or 80s,
Oh,
because he was with the club for like 13 years or something, wasn't it? 11 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and as you said, don't always have to score goals, but if you can assist, that outweighs it.
And link up play with the likes of Mark Ward and that. No, not Mark Ward. What was his name? I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, the link-up play where he would play into the centre, burst down the wing, the ball would be put back out to him. Then he would bring the ball in a bit,
Yeah.
pass it across into the centre. Somebody would then pass across again. Goal opportunities and stuff. It was his build-up play was absolutely incredible. And obviously, you don't get stats for that.
No.
You just got to know the player to know how good he was at that. And some of the videos that you see on YouTube and stuff will show you how good a player he was.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's quite ironic, Budge, that one I think the first one you showed me, you sent to me earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, Casey's put it here. According to Dev, his money dropped when he left Hoover to come to West Ham.
exactly that. And that's what you got to love about these kinds of guys, because it wasn't about the money. It was never about the money. It was about playing the game they loved for a team they wanted to play for. They truly wanted to play for.
Yeah. I mean, I like this one. As Richard's saying here, my first time I went to West Ham as a natural was '98. They played Spurs. Klinsmann started his second spell with them, I think, and West Ham won. And Trevor Sinclair scored, if I remember right, and had a great day. But he also adds on there, missed the last train back to Bristol, got a taxi, £160 back then.
Right, so I've just put the link for Canning Town Lens video in the chat for Devo. It's something worth watching if you haven't already. And I'm going to put the link for the other one in there in a minute.
Brilliant.
Literally just for his goals.
Yeah, look, usual saying there, he played a mud bath pitches and made it look effortless.
Exactly.
And Casey's saying, I think he worked driving a forklift.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. The thing is, they were all local lads. They were working for the likes of Tate and Lyle, or they were working for, like
Charrington's as well, weren't they?
Bass Charrington and all them. Yeah, and and some guys were working in that big old mill out there in what was it? Victoria Dock, was it? Victoria Dock?
Yeah, you got Royal Albert and the King George.
Oh, King George Dock. And there was a big old mill there, wasn't there? A paper mill or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, you had the the old Spillers Mill over the back there, and then there was the other one down the road from it as well.
Yeah, but
my old man was a Stevie door in the docks, so I know it quite.
Yeah, but the East End was chock a block with working class people.
Absolutely,
absolutely, and their kids were fans of West Ham as well as they were, and some of their kids became players at West Ham, and We've been very fortunate to have watched the likes of Alan Devonshire and your Mark Nobles of the world, and that kids that have grown up around the area. There's many, many more. I'm sure
we'll cover them, won't we? Just going to an old man one, because obviously going back off topic, he says, "What's pissed me off the chance we've missed this season? When you look at all these strange results, a bit of consistency would be in the proper mix," and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Michael Taylor saying, "Remember that semi-final against Everton very well. Devonshire and Lampard's goals. Similar to Stan Bowles is saying there. Yeah, look. Casey saying, who was the opposition when we broke from our half, went around the keepers? Was it Forest? I'm trying to remember
now. I'm not sure. West Brom, maybe. No. I think he's right. I think it was Forest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Forest.
Yeah, look, he's happy saying that. He said the hairs used to stand up on his neck as he was in the tunnel at bowling from the atmosphere.
Yeah, and also there's an interview on West Ham Network as well with Alan Devonshire, where he does his My Hammers 11. He chooses his favourite hammers from his time at West Ham, whether it be as a player or as a member of the coaching staff. If he's ever done that, I don't know if he's ever been at the club as a coach. But
he's still. I mean, you've already put it on the slide there, and that he's still manager of Maidenhead. I mean, he's
Maidenhead, yeah.
I mean, that's now nearly easy 20 plus years. He's got to be now.
No,
So when I
no,
was
he,
doing-
he was at Maidenhead. Hang on, I'll get his.
has he gone back? Because I know he was there years ago. He
Yeah,
had a
he
stint
was.
there
Yeah,
before.
hang on. Look,
Unless
look,
they took him back on again.
give me history here. Look, so if I just click that, right? So he went to Maidenhead as manager in 1996 up until 2003.
Oh, so he went then, yeah.
Yeah, and then he went on to Hampton and Richmond Borough, then to Braintree. I remember when he was at Braintree.
Braintree, yeah, yeah.
And then in 2015 went back to Maidenhead. So he's been there 9 years now in this spell,
Wow.
you know, and he did a 7-year spell before. So he must like Maidenhead.
Yeah, he does. I think because, fun enough, the semi-pro club I was with, he took one of our players.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was lightning quick, the kid himself. So I'm not surprised what he saw there.
Yeah, so in his career, oh, hang on, I got it a bit wrong. 1976 to 1990, he played for West Ham, played 358 games, scored 29 goals. And then he moved on to Watford and only ever played 25 games in 2 years.
Wow.
In 1 goal.
I mean, like Rob's saying here, apparently Bobby Robson was willing to pay $2 million for him for a new British record in about 81. But then he got injured and had to change the way he ran.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you see, I mean, I remember him being topic of conversation quite a lot on things like the big match of the day, those, you know, grandstand and stuff like that. I remember him being quite popular discussion subject because he was so damn good. He was just he had class and style about him as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Rob's added on there. Look, good link up with Jeff Pike.
Brilliant.
Pike, yeah, remember that?
Pike, yeah. And you know, what I used to admire most of all about Alan Devonshire when he was a player was that I don't remember one time him ever getting into an altercation with another player. I don't remember him ever doing it. Yeah, I can remember him getting carded for late tackles, maybe, but I don't remember him ever being in an altercation with another player.
Wow.
You know, he was. I would call him one of those that are inoffensive. You know,
just got on with it, and maybe the odd little niggle here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, well, look, if that was what we paid for him, look, best £5,000 we ever spent.
Wow, 5,000.
Michael Taylor said I was at Old Trafford when Devonshire scored. 1986, McAvenny scored as well. We won 3-2. Another one to be no doubt of the elites. The West Ham message, he got nobbled, much like Colin Bell. The likes of Martin Bucket did a job on him. Anti-football cartel code.
Yeah.
What he could have been, but for the injury, is quite startling. Yeah, Will.
Yeah.
Cherry out, scene, offside. Okay, interesting. Disallowed goal, the same. Bournemouth goal chalked off. Thank you, Rob. Yep. I remember the first stint he did, from there when he was there. What non-league club did he play for? Was it Wildston? Did he see the Raider?
No, it was Southall.
Southall.
He played for Southall. There's no stats on him, appearances or goals. And then in 76, he came to West Ham and then went to Watford for 2 years and then retired from playing.
Yeah, he
was almost a one-club man.
Yeah, which is a rare quality these days. Mystery why he never got an opportunity further up the pyramid.
Yeah. And, like his managerial career is actually quite mild compared to his playing career, if you like. I mean, he made 8 England appearances and 1 England B appearance. But his managerial career was Osterley, which is probably a local club to where he lived, Brentford Women, Maidenhead, Hampton and Richmond Borough, Braintree, back to Maidenhead.
So maybe that's the reason why he's not kind of moved so much at the table in Southall this season.
I think he enjoys more grassroots type football. I think players of his caliber and his character. I think maybe the Premiership as it is right now is a daunting prospect.
Yeah.
Well,
funny you say that because Michael Taylor said there. What about Devonshire for West Ham manager then? I mean, I think you're right. What you said, the semi-pro thing, and considering you said he's quite a quiet player already, maybe he's that same style as a manager. So probably is his limit.
Look, I would love nothing more than to see an ex-player, especially one I admire as much as I do Alan Devonshire. But I'd love nothing more than to see an ex-player at the helm. But it has to be the right player for the current climate of the game, and I don't believe Devonshire is that. I mean, Russ would be able to tell you exactly the kind of person that Alan Devonshire is. He's met him on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
And from what I've picked up from Russ and what I picked up from his interview, and the times you have seen him not as a pundit so much, but you might see him pitch side once or twice because he's at a game and they've gone, "Oh, please come and say a few words," blah blah blah. And he might come and say, well, what I'm looking forward to is this and that's what you get. But he's not the sort of person that wants to have his face in every front room, in the country.
Yeah.
On any stretch of the imagination, And that's why I think he's chosen to, manage or coach at the levels that he has done. He was only at Brentford Women for a year. And I think that was his first professional job.
Really?
As a manager. I think Osterley I've never heard of it. So I'm assuming it's grassroots and perhaps semi-pro at the best.
Yeah, because I think they've moved up and they've been up and down, haven't they? Quite a lot, really. Southall. Gentleman of the game, Dev, agree on that, Rob, as well. Rob saying Dev went nuts when a pen was given against him in the semi versus Everton at Villa Park.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, we just throwing this one in the mix. How about Paul Ince? He was a local lad near Ilford. You got to say Fergie done his own work snatching him. A bit like West Ham with Wan-Bissaka the other way. Difference being with that though is how Paul Ince handled that situation. You don't kind of put on the opposition shirt before you've left them. No, especially when you're with people that are going to share that image. That's the thing, isn't it? Pepsi's on his predictions ain't been doing too bad, but 2 out of 9 correct on this week's predictions. And a year later, when Clive Thomas allowed a Liverpool goal at Wembley in League Cup with Semi Lee offside. Oh, remember that one. Evening, Joanne. Hope you're well. Good to see you.
Oh,
his nickname amongst the team was George. Be interested to find out what that was.
Yeah, why was that? What, Devonshire are we talking about?
I think that's what. Yeah, it must be there.
Maybe they thought he was the next best thing to George Best.
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, that's true. Joe's made a couple of quid on the Fulham game.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, a few games for England the same. That's Christmas sorted then, as usual saying. Michael Salis saying wasn't being too serious about Dev being manager. No, I think it seems to be his limit. I'd say in that respects. Points as the next player. Pepsi.
He's very fond of West Ham, is he? Yeah, right. Okay.
Box of cat food for the week. 15 quid to do that on a roll. Pepsi. We're saying Osterley is near Heathrow.
Thank you very much again, Rob. Mind full of information, that man.
I never
really quick on Google.
Yeah. I remember we had to go to virtually in the centre of Heathrow is Bedfont, and they've got a team there, Bedfont St Giles. And I remember we went there. We got there early, and in the change room, this was obviously Concord was still around.
Yeah.
And the players obviously get the programs on the before the game kicks off. And we had this new lad that joined the team, and he was sitting on the bench reading this this program, and then of course Concord's taking off and over us. Well, I've never seen anyone from a seated position jump 8 foot up in the air to land on the floor and all the bags and stuff in the fetal position. He thought it was a bomb. Needless to say, we never saw him again after that. Poor sod.
Oh my God.
Exactly, Richard. It's pure bliss. How peaceful is it that without Anthony being on here? Absolutely pure bliss.
It's lovely.
Bournemouth should be 5-0 up. Couldn't get rid of the nylons. Yeah, good luck for the weekend, they're saying there. Yeah, Pepsi Ince is a good shout, but there's a bit of history there, though. Definitely was.
Yeah. So, give us an heads up then, Tony. It's your choice next week who we're going to chat about, who we're going to put a little focus on. Got any ideas on who?
You said about not having the usual people.
Yeah.
So for this one, I liked him because he was another one that just kind of got on with it. And he was a cheeky little smile on his face as well. So next week, I'd like you to do George Parish.
George Parish. Love that. I love that. Great. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so next week then, boys and girls, get your Google fingers going. Find out what you can about George Parish. We're going to do a little focus. Oh, yeah, I liked him. Good player.
I was at Upton Park. I can't remember who was playing, though, but the player was up the other end of the pitch, and he's watching the game, and then he just clapped on the floor.
Oh.
Lucky enough, I think it was okay in there, but I'm trying to think who the game was.
We'll go into that more next week when we talk about him. But yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, George Parish, what a great subject for next week. So next week's subject is going to be George Parish on Green Street Elites.
And just on this last comment from Robbie saying, in Ince's defence, he apologised to me 20 years later for being young and stupid and said, "You've had his time again, you've handled it differently." So fair play for saying that, at least.
Yeah. Good point. Look, for me, I would love to see Paul Ince at a game or something, just as a fan, wearing a claret and blue scarf or fucking half and half or anything, it wouldn't bother me. As long as he's there and he's in amongst the West Ham fans,
So Robert's kind of related to why he was called George. It wasn't the fact of George Best. For Alvin Martin saying he looked like George Cole in a St. Trinian's film.
That's half a daily to people who don't know.
Brilliant. Thomas Frank from me. Absolutely, old man. That's my choice. I'm too old. No one remembers Brentford Nylons, the advertising, 1970s.
I bloody do remember Brentford Nylons.
Wow. George Cole played a spiff in these films. He did indeed.
Yeah.
It was to do with the tash. Usual saying, George Parish only had one bollock. Interesting.
Did he?
Here he is. That's it. It's all got the shit now. Big up Tony and Budgie and Elsie. Budgie, 5'2".
Good for you, mate.
A fine bollock it was too.
Yeah. Apparently, David Moyes has only got a left bollock, hasn't he? It's only his left bollock that ever tends to comment on any of the videos.
Oh, mate. Timmy's saying, count me in. See you next Tuesday. Excuse the pun, of course, Timmy, of course.
Yeah.
And Richard's saying, I've got a little story about Alvin Martin. I kept it to next week. It was with my old boss who I work for. Keep that till next week, then Richard will look forward
Alvin Martin isn't next week. George Parish is next week. Richard, hold on to it. We'll do Alvin Martin the week after as the first subscriber suggestion. How's that?
Sounds good. Does
Yeah.
sound good.
George Paris next week. The following week, we're doing Alvin Martin. Yeah.
Great stuff. Look forward to that.
Excellent.
So, look, as we're coming up to the 2 hour mark, Budgie, is you got anything coming up on YouTube World?
Yeah, I want to apologise to those of you that were expecting Old School Hammers on
Evening,
West Ham
Jez.
Network last night. Good evening, Jez. I unfortunately got called into work. It was a job that was very important. The safety of some kids under 7 was at stake, so I had to go and do this job. But maybe doing something Saturday morning with Kieran, do a little Old School Hammers thing Saturday morning on the network. I'm hoping to be able to join you on Sunday, actually.
Nice.
That would be nice. I've not been able to join you for the last couple of weeks or so. Tuesday, I am not sure if Bowling Lounge will be broadcasting on Tuesday. That depends on Jeff. He's had 1 or 2.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Wednesday next week, obviously, Old School Hammers will be back. And then next week, George Paris.
Looks good. So, just like Jez, good to see you on here, mate. I hope you had a good break and it's been a nice, relaxing one, or you might be still there. I'm not too sure, but I hope you had a good time, mate. That's because I know it's needed.
Yeah.
Brendan saying Jimmy Neighbour was Devonshire elite, even had the tash. God, geez, remember that? Good player, Alvin Martin. He was indeed, Anthony.
He was.
Richard, if you play today and have 1 block, VR will still do you for offside. Rob said, applauding you, Budgie. Kids' safety is more important than YouTube fame. Absolutely, 100% on that. Johnny Ayres as well. Big Ange getting sacked. I mean, let's have a quick butchers. What's the latest scores on things? Let's have a quick look. Fulham 3-1. Bournemouth 1-0 up against Spurs. 91 minutes played, so not far from there.
Yeah.
And Timmy saying, of course, Alvin Martin, nice. From a Man City fan, golden early 70s, City and West Ham United played proper football.
Yeah.
So, people in the chat, as always, a pleasure having you with us. Been some great content and comments have been put in there as well. I can't believe Man United lost to Stoke City last night 2-0. Yeah. Billy Bonds will stick it to him. Another great one as well.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah, thanks for hanging around. We're coming to the end basically.
Yeah.
Yes, Sunday, the Sunday night takeaway. As I said, the budget, the invite will go out there from again, depending on, as you said, with Jeff, we may be in on Tuesday. Back to Wednesday for us before Budgie comes on with Kieran, with the good, the bad, and the ugly with Anthony and Fuzzy. And then, of course, we're back on for Thursday for another show. And as Budgie mentioned, we're going to talk about George Paris.
Indeed,
Yeah, up to you both. Same to you as well, Rob.
Cheers, Rob. And, Ronnie Sticker Boyce. Yeah, love him. So, yeah, next week, episode 4, Tone.
Yes, mate. It's brilliant so far. Night, lads. Take care of you, bowling beauties. Richard, appreciate that comment. Thank you very much, mate.
Richard.
And I'll leave my score predictions in the comments of this video tomorrow. Pepsi, thanks
Thanks,
you very much.
Pepsi. Much appreciated. And I want to say thank you to everybody that comes into the chat. And, as you know, we've got, fans from many clubs that come and watch your content, Tone. And I want to let them know that we all appreciate it. Every one of us that take part in any of these videos, we all appreciate it. I mean, Timmy's a City fan, yeah?
That's what he's alluded to there, I think. Yeah. So it's good. No, nice.
That's really good. Anthony, of course, he's a Bristol Rovers fan.
Yeah. Richard, his brother, is a Man United fan. So you're welcome, Pepsi, and as well, same for you as well, usual. Thanks, Tony and Budgie, and of course, Brendan. Pleasure as always. Thanks all. Enjoyable night. Glad you enjoyed it. We did as well. Cheers all. Cheers to you as well, Michael Taylor. Thanks for being in there. And last but not least, before we go, as usual, can only be one thing. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.